Yo, guys, what's up? And welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 92 of the cast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's the latest movie in the Marvel MCU. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and smash a like on the video as well. It really helps us out in the algorithm. Tonight on the cast is myself, Finto, and Alex, aka Zaberwolf. I do not sound like my regular self today, and that's because I lost my voice last week and we're just going to have to deal with it, guys. We got to talk about the new stuff. So without further ado, I'm bringing him in. Here we go. Yo.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, brother? How are you?
Nothing much. I'm in the same boat as you, man. Like I've got allergies and it's cold and flu season.
Yeah, I'm taking like sinus tablets because like my sinuses are flaring up, and I lost my voice last week, completely hoarse, like couldn't speak a sentence. I had like a chest infection. It's crazy.
Man.
It's crazy. We're dying here. We're dying.
Oh, and
So
hard times.
it is, bro. I think honestly, I think there's like some sort of new fucking strain of COVID going around or some shit that's just attacking people's lungs. I don't know. But yeah, look, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. Oh, and for the people asking, like, I sound pretty normal. It's because I take a fuck ton of like cold medicine, like on the daily. Like I take cough drops, I take cold medicine. I'm a fucking walking germ, so like sorry, like I gotta keep it rolling.
Yeah, 100%. I when I got this illness like 2 weeks ago, I thought to myself, I'm gonna start taking like a cough syrup and stuff, and like strepsils, like throat lozenges and stuff, just to make sure that I didn't like get sick, and I just couldn't. I couldn't stop it. It hit me like a ton of bricks. It was really bad.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that I drink cold drinks every day.
Oh, bro, like I'm drinking so much water. I'm trying to drink some like fizzy drinks just to try and like lubricate my throat and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm walking through the Sahara Desert the whole day. Like even if I drink just a crazy amount of liquid, it does nothing. Like nothing.
You've seen me though, like right, like every time we podcast, like I'm constantly like picking up a drink and drinking it. It's because like my asthma. I have a moderate asthma, so like it just gets dry like consistently, and so I just have to keep drinking water, keep it lubricated.
Yeah, and usually I'm not the type of guy that'll go to the doctor when I have a bit of a cough, like, but this has been going on for so long that I'm genuinely on Tuesday. It's Sunday now. On Tuesday, I'm actually going to the doctor and I'm going to get prescribed like an antibiotic and stuff.
Well, that's
good, because man. It's annoying. It's annoying me now at this stage, like, because I want to be able to talk properly on my streams, on my gaming streams, and obviously here as well. And I'm coughing a lot, and I've got a sore throat, and I keep waking up my daughter with my cough and stuff. It's very annoying. So
sorry to hear that, buddy.
Look, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. We got a good turnout at the start of the stream as well. Just for anybody who's here live, just want to say thanks for popping in. Douglas and Andre and Chillin's here now as well, and appreciate people being here. And if you're listening to us on a replay, just leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think of all this, and give us some X's and O's just for our sick bodies in the chat.
Make sure to go to the doctor regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, yeah, let's just dive straight in. Like, I've been reluctant to talk about this movie because I actually saw it really early. So the movie came out on the 3rd for us, and there was no 3D, or sorry, there was no like IMAX shows that weren't 3D.
Oh.
So like at the usual times that I go to the cinema. So basically what I did was I took the day off work and we went to see it at like 11 a.m. in the morning, which was I think like 2 a.m. on the 3rd your time. So like you were sleeping when I was watching it. It was crazy. Like I was just like, if I was making like solo content, I would have put out like a review straight away and would have got fucking hopeful. Well, I don't know. I could have got like some views on it if that was the case.
Oh, yeah.
But it's I was just like, I don't really want to be the type of person that goes in and like spoil shit for people and stuff. Like, as much as I love talking about stuff like ASAP, I don't like spoiling stuff for people who haven't seen it, especially like if I'm coming out of the movie at like 1 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon and I've already seen it, and like it's not even out across the world yet, you know what I mean? So I was just like, yeah, I don't want to be that guy.
Well, streamers do that all the time, man. Like, when it comes to like early launches of whatnot. I'm sure Jedi Survivor, there were people that were setting their time zones to Australia so that they could just get
play
the
it early.
product early.
Yeah.
And so like I'm pretty sure for some people that get to enjoy the show early, they probably already have reviews up, for movies. So
Yeah.
I totally understand. It's just, it's how people build content. They think that, oh, I got to drive it out as soon as possible. If I don't, I'm not going to be the first. Like basically,
Yeah.
like for what's it called? Not first
First come,
responders,
first
but
serve.
almost like kind of like FIFO, but it's like early adopters. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like and honestly, like it does work in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? Like it's people go up and they like there are people out there that want to just know straight away if
Mhm.
like a leak that came out a year ago was true. So they'll be like looking up straight away, trying to find out, looking for reviews of shit straight away. Like I'm the type of person that I look forward to watching all the reviews, but I won't.
Mhm.
I don't want to see anything before I see it. Obviously, you know what I mean. Like, and it sounds stupid because I'm so involved and dipped into the spoiler culture, but there's something different about like when you're speculating and hearing like leaks and stuff like that, like a year before something comes out.
Yeah.
That's like fun in its own sense, and it's kind of nice to know where it's going. But you don't want like official spoilers. Like you don't want someone who's actually seen it coming back to you and saying, "Well, this happens," or "He dies," or whatever the fuck, you know. So it's a bit different. It sounds the same, but it's not.
Right.
So yeah, like just to kind of you mentioned Jedi Survivor. So just before we start, like I actually got two things completely spoiled for me from that game, and it was just because it was people who are full-time streamers who just went live for like 2 days in a row and just like blitzed
Like
the game straight
smash through
away.
it. Yep.
Yeah, and I was sick and I couldn't even play it, like, you know what I mean? So I was just like, fuck, so it is what it is.
Yeah. But
Um,
like other than that though, like are you enjoying it?
I fucking love the game, bro. I love it.
I'm glad to hear.
Absolutely
Glad to
love it.
hear.
And I'm playing it on PC and it's running like shit. And I'm playing it on medium graphics and I still love it. You know what I mean? So that'll tell you. That'll
Yeah,
tell you.
there's a couple streamers that I watch here and there, and the one main one that I watched, like he brute forces everything, and
Yeah.
but it's entertainment. He didn't like it as much. He actually doesn't like it as much as the first game. He felt like
Yeah.
it was a step backwards, but maybe
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I thought it was an absolute leap
it's like
forwards, to be honest.
a good upgrade.
Yeah, yeah, big time. Yeah.
Hell
Like
yeah.
everything is movement, like combat, everything is like improved.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
That's good
really
to hear,
think it
man.
is a
Because
good
like
step up.
yeah, because there's no way that like they're gonna take a full step backwards, unless they just absolutely needed to ship this out as soon as possible, which
Yeah.
is possible. Like, that's always a possibility. I think that's like kind of the norm nowadays. They have their investors and stakeholders like waiting for the product to come out so that they can make their profit. But like then it turns into a shit game, and then it doesn't get like as many copies sold as it should, and so their projections go down, like weren't meeting standards, or like weren't meeting expectations. But it's the hunger that drives the corporations that like really fuck it over. Because like there's so many good games that come out, and then their sequels are like, yeah, we just really needed to rush this out because the hype was real, and we wanted to keep the hype going.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of concerned, like for that one streamer, like is it actually bad? And so with checking with you, apparently, you must be doing everything correctly, whereas this person is like just brute forcing it, trying to get through, and fucking things up, and expects the game to be better based on their gameplay rather than the game itself.
Yeah. Like I see people are giving out about it because like it's not like incredibly optimized for PC, and there's people using 4090s and they're not able to get 100 FPS and they're freaking out. Like, so I can understand that. I My expectations of the game were never going to be great because I'm playing on a 2080 RTX on a
Mhm.
single PC setup and I'm streaming it. So I was always playing it on medium anyway. So I kind of think that, it is what it is. Like I have a 4070 coming in next week, and um I'll probably do a replay of it on higher settings and just see like how much better it is, and hopefully there'll be some patches to fix it as well. So I'd say my second playthrough will be a lot better. But like I'm there for the storyline, I'm there for the combat, the movement, and all that sort of thing. And look, there's points in the game where I can actually see Cal fucking. It's like there's like I can see screen tears and everything in the movements, but I just don't care. Like it's
Yeah.
You know, I've done 5 streams of it so far. Sixth stream will be tomorrow, and the final stream of it tomorrow. And I've had 2 crashes, like 2 back to desktop crashes. It's not
That's
too
not too
bad.
bad.
Like
Yeah.
it's actually it's not too bad.
You know, it's funny you
Like,
mentioned the 4070. Like I have a 4090 just sitting like in the closet right now.
oh, bro, that makes me
Dude,
sick.
I,
That makes me sick, bro.
I'm waiting. Because I'm saving up some money. If when I get the chance, I'd like to build another computer and have a more
That's
modern setup. I still have like a 9900K sitting in like the streaming computer, and I know
yeah.
that it's gonna get bottlenecked if I don't upgrade it. So
Yeah, so I was thinking of doing something similar as well, just kind of keeping the 2080 that I have and just maybe building out a streaming PC and then just having my main rig as like just the gaming unit, and then I'll just transfer everything to my second PC and just stream off that.
yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend if you have the money for it. I would highly recommend just building from the ground up. Just get a shell, get all your components, and just start from there. Because then it's completely clean. There's no bloat or anything that could be involved, like from you spending time and time again, like on websites and whatnot. And it's just like it feels really nice when it's just like a clean build and you just start it up and it just starts within like 5 seconds.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Yeah, like Andre's asking in the chat about Jedi Survivor, and I don't really want to talk about spoilers in the game, but as far as I know, I only have about an hour of gameplay left, so I'm very close to the end. So I've probably seen all the important characters that you are talking about, Andre.
There
Again, I got 2 of them spoiled on me, so I was kind of pissed off going into it. So, but one of the biggest like kind of plots in the storyline, that didn't get room for me, and I was shocked by it. Like I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I'm happy enough.
So there is one thing that I've wanted to ask you about that. Have you reached a simulation where you had to fight like 2 of those frog enemies?
No, I don't know if that's like a little side quest or something.
Yeah, it's probably a side quest, but like just people struggling so hard to get past that point because it's they're playing on the hardest difficulty as well. So
Yeah,
it just it's insane. Like I just watch them like constantly dodging and trying to attack the enemy and just getting one shot, and it's like holy shit.
yeah. Like I don't have enough hours in my week to sit and play like Grandmaster and like try and just like beat it on the hardest difficulty. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't want to be getting stuck on the same boss for 2 hours and wasting half my stream. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I played most of the game on Jedi Knight, which is like the middle difficulty. And like there was some parts where I kept getting stuck and you'd have to go back and fight like fucking loads of stages again. So I was just like, I'm just gonna drop this to the easiest thing, get past this bit and then put it back to where it was. Just because
Yeah.
I want the streams to flow better.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean? If
but
I want to challenge myself, I'll play it offline and I'll play it on a harder difficulty. Like, but it's not the kind of streamer that I am. Like, that's not the Twitch that you're going to be knocking over to. If you pop over to my channel, like, you're not going to see that shit.
what like that's content though, man. Like you play on the hardest difficulty, you're struggling, you're going through
Yeah,
it, and like just constant. Like you'll have people come through and be like, "You suck," but like once you beat it, everybody's just so fucking proud of you. I think that's
I
like the
know, but
best.
no one's watching though. Everyone's gonna just like there'll be no one interacting with it. If I spent 3 hours just trying to beat one boss, do you know what I mean? Like it's not the chat I want to have. It's not the stream I want to have. Like I want to kind of
Gotcha.
stick to the main story and just have fun. Like I don't want to be like Jedi Survivor Part 55, like, and I'm only halfway through the game. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
no.
I mean, speaking of which, though, like, have you finished South Park: The Fractured Butthole?
I think I'm stuck on I was stuck on a part and I moved on to something else. I can't remember. I do need to go back and finish it.
Yeah, you got to get back to it, dude. Like, they
Yeah,
had a sale on Steam, and they, it was there for like I think $15, with all the DLC and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, I'm picking it up. And I never played it on the hardest difficulty on Diabolical, and
yeah,
it's actually really fun. Like, it gives you a really good challenge, and I know it seems tough, but like they give you so much utility in that game. It's insane. Like they did a really good job with South Park games.
yeah, for sure. Look, we're hitting 15 minutes and we haven't even started talking about Guardians yet. So intro over, game and talk over. Let's get into it. Bro, this movie, um, What do you give it out of 10? First of all, like, give us an overall score. I just want to kind of, I want to kind of see how you feel about it, and then I'll give you mine, and then we can kind of dig a bit deeper.
I give it like a 7. You know, it's
Okay.
it's not that bad. It's okay. I think that there was a lot to be seen, as well as like a lot of things that they've kind of rehashed from the second movie. And I don't know if it's just because that's how James Gunn works, but it really feels like anything that he works on, anything that's previously done, if it got like laughs, if it got like good reviews on certain scenes and whatnot, he kind of reuses that. And you'll see it more so as you go along. Like you'll watch the first movie, and then you'll watch the second movie and see that like a few things got taken from the first movie and put to the second one.
Yeah.
The third movie basically does the same thing. It's like, okay, you know that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 where like all the enemies get like all the Ravagers get lifted up, and like they're suspended midair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happens in Volume 3, right? Like so it's the exact same thing, exact same situation, anti-grav kind of situation, which cool, that's fun, but like we've seen it before, we've seen it already. Like what's the point of showing us again? It was cool, but like it wasn't necessary. Like we really could use a little bit more to it. I think it's just rehashing of old data, and I'm not a fan of it. So that's what really knocked it down for me. Like, and that's just one of the scenes that I would say.
Yeah.
The humor in it, pretty good. I would say not as good as 2 or 1. Um, but in terms of like the emotional damage,
Yeah.
that's fucking huge. Like that, like I would say that the whole story, and spoilers if anybody is listening.
Look.
Yeah.
This is a spoiler-filled stream. People know. People know.
Well, just giving the heads up, because like the story behind Rocket Raccoon is honestly like really good. I really enjoyed that. I think that was like the best part of the show overall. Um, other than the villain.
Well, that was the whole movie, though, right? Pretty much. Like it was a
What,
rocket
for
movie.
Rocket?
It was a rocket movie. Like, let's be
Yeah,
real.
but I loved it because like it's way better. It's way more information that we absolutely needed. Like we've been missing information about Rocket for the longest time, and now that we got it, like it's fantastic. They told a heartfelt story about like the losses that he had, about how he was modified, about like how he was basically taken in by the high evolutionary and just destroyed, like broken down and rebuilt. But like he's just got such a high intelligence, and he's just such a great engineer and tinkerer, like that he's amazing. Like he's like, from what they make it look like, he's basically on par with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
It's just he doesn't have the same amount of like funds as him, so he has to find whatever junk
scrapper basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's it's just like Tony, because don't like Tony Stark built an entire suit in a cave with a bunch of scraps. It's one of those things, like you feel for the guy, and it really gives you that same feeling like of Iron Man kind of coming out. It's a nice callback to that character. It's a nice like it meshes so well. I love that story. And the High Evolutionary, by far my favorite villain of all time. Like way better than Kang the Conqueror right now. Like Kang is cool. I love High Evolutionary. High Evolutionary was a fucking maniac, and I loved it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, look, he was better than Kang, but I know, like, I've seen people online saying he was better than Thanos. I'm like, get the fuck out of here! Like, not a chance. Like, no way.
Well,
no,
no, actually, I would say in terms of personality, he's way better than Thanos. But in terms of like power and whatnot, like yeah, of course Thanos is going to beat him. But
no, I'm not even talking that. Like, I'm talking like just character wise and just stakes wise and all this sort of stuff. Like, I just let me go back to the start. So I'll give you my score first. So when I walked out of the theater, I was very disappointed with this film for a number of reasons. and I gave it a 6 out of 10, which I thought was maybe a little too harsh because I was maybe a little annoyed. But if anything, the like maximum score I could give it would be like a 7. Like honestly, I'm gonna sit 6, 6.5. Maybe it'll go up 6.5 on the second viewing if I've even view it a second time. To be honest, I've seen Guardians 2 twice since it's been out. That came out like what, 5 years ago, something like that. I don't know, bro. Like I'm not the biggest Guardians fan to begin with. Like the first one was good, but like I wouldn't even put the first one in the top 15 in the MCU. Like, you know what I mean? It's just they're not really amazing movies to me. Like, and this one just so much of it annoyed me because I just felt like we were fucking lied to with the trailers so much. I thought this movie was going to be absolutely devastating. Like people were like, "Oh, get ready for this movie. It's going to be so devastating." You know, like we know it's Batista's last movie. I thought Drax was dead for sure. They should have killed Drax. They should have. It would have been so good for like him to die. You know what I mean?
Why?
Because the whole time you're watching the whole Rocket story, how much of a spanner would it have been if in that big fucking like choreograph scene that like fucking Drax just gets a hole in his heart? Like it would have just been like, what? It would have been so good. And then just send him out like on a shield. Like it would have been great. Like rather than him just going, yes, I'll stay here and build nowhere or whatever the fuck. It was just
Well, he was planning to leave. Like he was going to take off. He wanted to go with Mantis, because ultimately like the feeling of wanting to be with someone was Drax's like final emotion. But it turns out that like because there's so many of, children that were available like where they live now, that he gets to be a father. And that's ultimately what his ordeal is now. It's like he's going to be basically a father to all those children, especially for the fact that like he knows their language, he can speak to them, he can like communicate. Like I think that's awesome. I don't think there was any reason for him to die. Like there was nothing in this show, in this movie whatsoever that said such and such needs to die. Any of these characters that absolutely has to die, honestly, is Adam fucking Warlock.
Did you
Fucking
like?
hated him.
So I don't agree. To be honest, I think Drax was considering it was Batista's last film. I think Drax was like dramatically underused in the film. Like he wasn't in the film. It felt like he wasn't in the film. It was weird. It felt like Star-Lord wasn't in the movie for half of it as well. It was a Rocket movie. It felt so
Really?
weird to me. I just feel like
But
these characters were so underused. And then Adam
dude,
Warlock as well was completely underutilized. Like, what was the
yeah.
fucking point of him even being in the film? It was shit. It was terrible.
But dude, like, how can you say that Star-Lord and Drax weren't used? Like, literally, they used Star-Lord like for his charm. He was talking to Gamora. He was trying to figure out like his feelings and whatnot. Which that was a little annoying. But
Meh.
other than that, like they kind of threw it out after a while,
Middies.
and they just and what?
Middies for the titties, baby. It was terrible. It was just like it was so boring. It was just honestly, man, it was
I don't know, dude.
awful.
Like,
It just didn't
it's
hit
just
me at all.
But it was the charm, dude. Like it's the charm of Quill. Like he's trying to be like this step up because he's like, this is not my Gamora, but I want her to like me. Like I'm like it's my Gamora. I want her to come back, and basically like he's
I
dealing
feel
with heartbreak, but then he's
I feel
also showing
sorry.
his charisma.
I feel sorry for him in that sense, but at the same time, it's like this isn't the woman that you fell in love with. Like
Right.
it's a
Like,
woman who
yeah,
took a completely different path. So just like let it go, bro. And
yeah.
like
We're saying, you and I are saying in that point, like we would have been like, yeah, that's not my Gamora. Like, we'll just have her be fond of us. We don't need her to be with us, kind of situation. But that's the point. That was the point between Quill and Drax, is that Drax was trying to help Quill understand, but Mantis helped because she's like, I know you're not good with metaphors. I know you're not good with like making similes and whatnot, like because he's so literal. So she had him go and talk to Quill and tell him about the lily pads, which is like a fucking perfect, metaphor or analogy or whatever they use. I forgot what they said it was. Because like it's true. Like there's plenty of things to lily pads to go around. Like he doesn't need to keep sinking because he's standing on the same lily pad. Like it's just it makes more sense that like Quill is so emotional and Drax is like, I honestly like. I'm okay with Drax not being used that much. I don't think it was, extensive. Like I feel like in the second movie, it was a little dragging because they really wanted to utilize the I would say the humor, and it just like they kind of toned it down with him because they knew like if they would overdo it, then it'd be like, okay, well now I want this fucker to die because he won't stop being annoying.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I like I thought the trailers and just the way everyone was speaking about the movie was just like, get ready for heartbreak, get ready for devastation, and I was just like, I'm ready. And you know, if you're like an animal activist, I'd say you were like crying looking at these scenes of like little rockets and stuff. That shit didn't phase me at all. I'm sorry, like maybe I'm just dead inside.
You
Yeah,
heartless fucking monster.
I'm dead inside. But again, these are CGI characters. They're not even real animals. Like I'm just like I don't care. Do you
It's
know
a
what I mean?
raccoon, you jerk.
I don't give a fuck, man. Raccoons stink, man. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? But honestly, though, like I I genuinely felt like we got like to 3/4 of the way through the film, and I was like, is something else going to happen, or is it actually just going to be the whole film just going to be revolve around Rocket? Like I actually genuinely was waiting for something else to happen. Like, and then they faked Quill's death as well. And I was like, okay, Quill's going to die. I was like, okay, cool. Here we go. Some fucking, like, some actual stakes in this film. And I was like, Quill's dead. And then they just take it back. His whole head was about to explode. And then he's fine 2 minutes later. I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
Because Warlock somehow, like, got through to him and picked him up and, like, shipped him over. I would think at the very least he'd be a little...
spit magic shit in his face and just, like his whole face was back to normal 2 minutes later. I was like, what the fuck? I thought he'd be, like, in a recuperation fucking chamber for, like, 6 months, like...
I mean, but they have those fucking, like... mechanical like med packs that apparently you throw it on anything and it just fixes it. So they probably just threw like 10 of those on his face.
That's fine. Look, I'll let that part go. But it's like the whole Rocket, like again, like they kill Rocket like flatlines, and I'm like, okay, Rocket's dead. Fair enough. Like, whatever.
What do you mean, whatever? Right. That's fucking Rocket. Like, dude, it's Rocket.
Again, I'm not the biggest Guardians fan, so I'm like, I don't
you get the backstory.
I don't have this. I don't have this attachment to Rocket like you do, obviously. But you know what I mean?
It's not even so much an attachment. It's just you get this backstory, and you're like, man, this dude's been through so much shit, and he doesn't tell anybody because he's so reserved. And you're like, nah, fuck this guy. Who gives a shit about his past?
Fuck him. He's a little raccoon. Like, I don't give a shit.
What if they killed Lila? They killed his girlfriend.
I don't care, man. Like, she had no arms. She couldn't do shit anyway. Like,
she hugged him.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, the image that I used for the thumbnail for this episode, I genuinely did that for 2 reasons. Because number one, that like clip in the trailer, I was like, whoa, okay, this is gonna break my heart. Like, because that was like the best acting I've ever seen out of Chris Pratt. Like, is that scream that he does?
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to use that for the thumbnail for this, but then I wanted to use it for another reason, was because that's how angry I feel about the fucking movie. It's like that was my face going out, like
foaming at the mouth.
I'm like, fuck you! Like, how dare they do this to us? Like, I was so.
Why do you want people to die though?
Because it's the end of James Gunn. It's the end of Drax. It's the end of the Guardians. I'm like, kill them all. You may as well. Like,
no,
dude. Yeah. Could you imagine how? Dude, imagine what, like, because again, just to jump to the very end of the movie, which again, another thing that just pissed me off. We wait for the after credits and it's just Quill sitting in the kitchen eating cereal. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. You know what I mean?
I loved it. It was the fucking best.
Tissue.
It's shawarma all over again. Everybody loves shawarma, apparently.
Dude, no. I'm just like, I understand it's emotional for him to like reconnect with his family on Earth, but at the same time, do you know what I mean? I was expecting him to like flick on the TV and see something about the Avengers and go, shit, I'll help these out, or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just him sitting there going, oh yeah, what? Like my stepbrother is being a lazy prick or something. I just like, bro, I don't know. I just felt really annoyed by how, like, again, and nothing happened. And I felt that's how I felt the whole movie was like, nothing really happened.
Well, I mean, but think about it, dude. In comics, in comics, like when a comic series ends, that's how it ends. Nothing happens afterwards. There's nothing to kind of pertain afterwards.
Unless they're planning. This ain't comics. This is a cinematic universe. It's meant to be
Of
all
course, it's a cinematic universe, but they're still taking stuff from there. They're taking some of the shit from there and being like, "Well, I want to stick it here and I want to stick it there," and that's the problem that I see with it. But like, in terms of a movie, I get it. They don't want to keep this project rolling forward, and plus, James Gunn is gone.
Yeah.
So like, we don't have James Gunn anymore. So he's just finishing it in a way where like it's comfortable, like it's nice. It's just like at the end of Endgame, except for the fact that like there are a few people that are still dead, but that's still kind of the case here. The original Gamora is gone.
Yeah,
this Gamora exists.
Do you know what's terrible? I don't care that she's gone. I actually don't even like Gamora anymore. They've actually ruined her character. Like she's just nothing. Like again, I forgot Gamora was in the movie. She's so irrelevant now. It's such a shame because I love Zoe. She's a great actress. Like, and I loved the character of Gamora in the first movie. But now they've just completely erased that character, and she's just a dickhead who's a Ravager now. And it's just like, I just don't care. If she went off into space with fucking Sylvester Stallone and Michael Rosenbaum and all, and we never saw her again, I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't care.
That's it. I think that's the point. I think that's the point, though.
But it's just like such a shame. It's such a shame, bro.
But that's the point, is to let her go. Like just let her go.
Again, like I will never think about her again. See you later. Good luck.
And I totally understand your feelings, dude. Like it definitely makes sense that for Gamora, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. She's leaving. Fuck off then. But at the same time, I love that Quill finally came to terms with him, like with the understanding that like she's not the only person in this world that he can fall in love with. It's not the only person in this world that he can have a relationship with. And that's why he goes back to his grandfather, because like he hasn't seen his family in a long time. He's willing to grow by spending time with his grandfather. And dude, do you not understand the implications of him being on Earth now? When they said that the legendary Star-Lord will return, he's on Earth.
He'll join the Avengers or something, of course.
Well, like, but why would he? But that's the thing, is like, why would he join the Avengers? Like, I don't think he would join the Avengers. At the very least, I think he would. I think he would fuck with the Fantastic Four, or maybe even like Ant-Man. Like, it's got to be like quantum shit or space shit. Like, it can't just be Avengers, because Avengers stay on Earth for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that like he knows the Avengers. He obviously dealt with Endgame and everything with everyone. So I just don't see him fucking around with a smaller team of unknown people.
Unknown.
That's not his style. Like,
unknown. Who's unknown?
Well, let's say the Fantastic Four come into it now. They haven't been in the MCU before. No one knows who they are.
Yeah. So that'd be great for Quill to just jump into.
But again, it's like, how does he make that connection? How do you know what I mean? Like, no, they don't know each other.
I don't know. But like, how is She-Hulk gonna get connected to the Fantastic Four? Because she joins the Fantastic Four in the future. Like, eventually she's gonna collaborate with them or be with the Avengers. Like, she has a reason to kind of hang out with those people. The only reason why I chose the Fantastic Four and Ant-Man is because those are like, that's quantum mechanics and spatial beings. It's like they go out into space, they go do shit. So they might need someone who was previously a Guardian to bring them around the galaxy. I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of throwing like spitballing here, but like, I don't think it's gonna actually happen. I just theorize that it will. Like, it just. But like, in terms of She-Hulk, like, how the fuck is she gonna meet them at the Baxter Building? Aren't they in like close to New York?
They're in New York, yeah. But like, I don't know. Like, Bruce will fucking introduce them or something. It's like, oh,
we got introduced to fucking Scar, which is fucking dumb. I'm still upset about Scar.
Yeah, I know. He just looked like a hippie or something. It
was dumb. Like, what are you doing? Like, Scar is supposed to be a badass. Like, he's literally a barbarian looking guy.
Yeah.
Hates his father for what happened.
Yeah. I don't know, like, bro, like, it's honestly, like, there was more stuff that I hated about this movie than I liked about it. Like, there definitely was good parts. There was some good comedy, some good choreography. The second half of the movie was definitely better than the first half of the movie in my eyes. And, the villain was okay. He just wasn't. It wasn't a gripping storyline for me, if that makes sense. Like, I understand he made like the Counter Earth and stuff like that, but like, again, we're only there for like 15 minutes. It doesn't really have an impact on me, like, you know what I mean? Whereas if you found out that, I don't know, like, if you found out there was something that was in the MCU for years that he was involved in creating, and I understand he created the Adam Warlock's people and all, but
the
it's
Sovereign.
again, yeah. And again, it's a kind of like whatever, like, we saw them for 10 minutes in the last movie, like
because the Sovereign were developed by the High Evolutionary because James Gunn basically put it into the story. The High Evolutionary doesn't exist in the comics itself. Like it's an entirely new thing, which that's when they kill Aisha, and it's like, okay, who cares?
Yeah.
It just like it doesn't make sense. But like other than that, like I understand that we saw Counter Earth like for one like good amount of scenes, and then it's like, okay, it's gone. But it's like he's made multiple. Like he could make more. But as of right now, like from what it seems like, he's dead. So, but we don't know exactly if he's truly dead. He could be like Zoloff, where he's like, or Zola. He's like he's implanted somewhere, and he's like his original brain is just like set somewhere else.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, I don't know how you don't like the High Evolutionary. That dude is fucking insane.
I don't hate him. I just don't care. There's like there's no stakes for me in it. Like when you first meet Thanos, you're kind of like, oh my god, like it's an incredible story that's building slowly, and then it just comes to this big epic conclusion. Like whereas if we never see this dude again, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? I saw someone mention online, and they were like, "Why don't we just make this guy a variant of Kang and let him take over as Kang?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you do that, that's cool. That's fine. I'm down." But I just kind of feel like, yeah, like someone was saying, because with the whole Jonathan Major shit, like they were like, if they have to recast him, maybe just recast the High Evolutionary as Kang and just have the High Evolutionary being a variant of Kang or something. And I was like, that could work. Like they could flip it around and make it work somehow.
I don't like that though, man. Like I need it to be I need it to be someone else. Like if they're really gonna replace Jonathan Majors, like it's got to be someone else. High Evolutionary's character is that character. I love that character for what they've done and what they were planning to do, and all the reason to kill them. And hopefully they're not dead. Hopefully it's just like they're off somewhere else in like a computer or something. Because like that character is so fucking insane. They're willing to conduct experiments trying to perfect things, and it's the same thing as Thanos. It's the exact same thing, but like that's the point. Is High Evolutionary is all about perfection. Thanos is all about balance, which is technically perfection. And but there's no such thing as perfection in the world, and so like it's a never ending story of like, I will never perfect this, but I'm going to do my damnedest to make the perfect people. And it's fucking it's genius, because it's like that's the exact same thing. Like in real life, we've had many of different people trying to create perfect specimens and whatnot, and they failed because it's not possible. And that's what I really like about the High Evolutionary is that situation. And so him showing off his like craziness and being so like erratic at times, and realizing that someone is smarter than him in this world, because he's like created. Yes, but that's the thing. It's like it's the whole idea of like, if you were to get in terms of religion, like, God made man, but man thinks of all these things that are like wonderful and like, just spectacular. But it's like, if you think about it in a scientific way, it's like man just strives to become better. It's just there's someone that will eventually become smarter than the average human and create something that's innovative or inventive, like something that generates like a future era. And so that's what he saw in Rocket, and that's why he freaked out, because he's like, wait, no, like I'm supposed to be the supreme intelligence in that sense. Like you're not supposed to be smarter than me.
Yeah.
How did you do that? I'm like, he literally grabbed him. He's like, how did you do that? I made you. You should only be within range of me at the most. And you fixed something for me when I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, that was.
I'm going insane.
I liked that.
Like,
I liked that. That was a good part of the story, and the part where he talked about just like incinerating everybody. He's just like, I don't care if we can incinerate them and delete them. Let's start again.
That's how you feel right now, Finn.
That was ice cold, bro.
Incinerate everyone.
I wanted James Gunn to incinerate half the cast of this fucking franchise, and for us to go out kind of like at the end of Infinity War when everybody stood up at the end of Infinity War and just went, "What the fuck just happened?" Like they lost.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what the hell? It was amazing. That's what I think Phase 5 needs right now. They need to be like kicked in the nuts, man. Like it's just.
But it's too early, dude. Like it needs a build up again.
Never too early.
That was a
Never.
That was a massive loss. Like you have no idea. Like No Way Home is a massive loss. Like no matter how much you see it, it's not a victory. It's a massive loss.
Well, that's just like that's Peter Parker's story, and that's just like for me. I thought that was just kind of that's Peter's story. We were just kind of real late to hear it in this version of it. You know what I mean? Like you're always expecting him to lose to get that loss. I always thought, well, I don't know. He doesn't really talk about Uncle Ben, so I thought maybe he was too young for Uncle Ben's death or whatever. But I thought it was very clever the way that they did that in No Way Home. Because now he's caught up, he's alone, he has no money, he's living in the city, he's got to get a part-time job to pay for his rent. It's kind of like this is like Toby's at the start of the first one, but now we're only going into the fourth one. You know what I mean? So I think it's like, and when you say too early, it's like we're into Phase 5, bro. There's like this is not early. We're at the end right now. It doesn't matter.
How much
if it's
loss
like
do you
need?
But how much loss do you need?
Let's blow up the entire universe. Like,
no, fuck
yeah,
off with that.
Let's kill everyone.
No, I'm walking
that's where
out
it's going, bro.
No, I'm done.
World.
I'm not watching anymore. If that's the case, I'm going to stick to the comics. No, it's not. It's not.
It is, bro.
We're not at the end of. We're not at the end of the multiversal war. We're not even there yet. We're not even. We haven't even gotten to the Kang Dynasty, and Jonathan Majors is already fucking up.
It's coming, dude.
We haven't gotten there yet. Jonathan Majors is already fucking up. So like, it's going to get postponed even further. We're going to get fucked.
838 versus 616 is going to be the last incursion, and then we're going to get Secret Wars, bro. That's what's going to happen.
How small do you need this? That like it's too small.
I know, but then they're just at the events of the when that's all over, they're just going to create a new multiverse, like, and you know what I mean.
Well, why?
When start again?
At what point? But like,
it's a clever way for them to kind of soft reboot it, like, and then they bring in the X-Men, they bring in Fantastic Four. And then they have everything under one umbrella. That's what they're going to do, bro.
No, I call bullshit. 100%.
Oh, God, dude. Clip it, guys. Clip it, because I guarantee you, in a few years, I'm going to look back on this clip. I'm going to be like, why am I talking like this? What's wrong with my voice? But they're going to be like, I was right the whole time. Back in 2023, I was right.
If you're right, dude, I'm out. Like, I'm done.
Dude, get ready. Pack your shit, bro. I hope the DCU is good for you because, like, that's what's going to happen. Guaranteed.
Oh, I'm not going to DC ever. I'm going to the comics. I'm just going to stick in the comics for Marvel.
I think yeah, I don't know. I would prepare yourself, bro, because I really think that's where it's going.
I get it. I know we're going to have a war. I know it's going to be a multiversal war, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere close. Like once we get to, I would say Phase 6 or 7, then we're somewhat there. But we're still in Phase 5 right now, dude. We still have a long way to go. They haven't even developed like proper characters yet. And you're telling me to blow it all the fuck up? Like, fuck that.
It's going to happen. I think they need to do that. I think they need to blow it up because they need to start again, because they need to introduce back all the characters that they got back. They need the Fox characters. They need X-Men in the MCU. They need fucking Deadpool, everybody. Like, they got to blow shit up to create new shit.
Yeah, but no, they're spoon feeding it. They're going to spoon feed us. They're not going to burn it all down. They're going to spoon feed us. They're going to bring it in. They're going to bring us a box of cereal. They'll be like, here's your delicious X-Men, all X-Men, movie. And then here you go. X-Men meets Avengers. And then you got X-Men versus Avengers. And then you have like stuff like that, which I would love to see. For them to just blow it all up and then reboot, that sounds like a really big cop-out. Well, and I know that
I don't mean reboot. I mean kind of, it's like a soft reboot because it's going to be like similar character. Like, you'll still have the Fantastic Four from the MCU that we might get introduced to in 2 years' time. They'll still be in it, but they have to like make it make sense for them to be in the main MCU. They need to change the universe for it all to work, because it doesn't make any sense right now.
How does it not make sense? Like, why can't they just be elsewhere? Why can't the X-Men just be in hiding this whole time? Why can't we just let things be as they are? The only time where I say it doesn't make sense is when we were talking about Spider-Man, Daredevil, Punisher, and like other such ground characters that don't necessarily go out into space and don't need to like do like gigantic battles with enemies. Like those people should have been meeting up with each other a long time ago. Venom too, like Venom, Carnage, like all that, like all of that stuff should have been like collaborating already. And yes, like I agree with like Andre, like we need to go with Doctor Doom, 100%. Like we're it's just mind blowing that we haven't had Doctor Doom yet, because that's like one of the biggest characters that you need in this entire universe right now, is a character that is actually terrifying. Besides Kang, which is a multiversal threat, we need like an Earth threat, and they keep killing off any sort of Earth threats that would be possible, because they want to tell their own stories and fuck up everything like in between. Like I'm all for Moon Knight. I want Moon Knight to come through. I want Moon Knight to like start the Midnight Mission. I want the vampires to come through. I want Blade to come through. And things are getting postponed because there's strikes going on. We have like the issue with Jonathan Majors and Kang. It's gonna be delayed so hard. And then they're gonna have to figure out a way out of this. And that's when I will believe you. When they're like they need a way out. Then I'll say burn it and we'll start over.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, I think the whole plan is Secret Wars. They're giving Kang the powers of the Beyonder, and he's going to destroy everything. And then, however that movie will end, it'll just be the start of a new multiverse. And then they can just bring in whoever they want. You know, they have to explain how they get Deadpool from Fox into the MCU. You got to explain how Hugh Jackman's coming with him. Like, you know, that needs to be explained. You know what I mean? Like, you've got people crossing from different universes there. Like, it doesn't make any sense right now. And then it's like, you know, you've got people like some of the X-Men in like Multiverse of Madness, for example. But again, if you want to keep people like that, you got to like bring them into a new universe. Like, so it just feels like they need to kind of hit a reset of some capacity.
I get that, man. I understand what you're saying, but because they have the multiverse, it's as easy as saying they're in a different universe. They can be moved to another universe, much like Gamora is technically part of a different universe because she's from the past and she's been brought into the future. Technically speaking, that is a branch that they just made without Gamora. Gamora doesn't exist in that world.
See, I think they got to close the multiverse at some point, though, because people will get sick of the whole, actually, this guy's from like fucking Earth 19999, but he's popped over here, like a magic portal's opened up, and now he's in the MCU for 2 movies, and then he's gonna fuck off back to his universe. I just don't. People won't want that. Like, they want everything like Earth Prime sort of shit. Like, you know,
dude, you say this now, and I know you're saying this because you see this as a means of like, yeah, it seems like too much. But how awesome was it that we had so many different variants of Spider-Man show up in Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales, and then they all go back home, and now we're going to see them again in Across the Spider-Verse, and we're going to see even more spiders. We're going to see even more totems. We're going to see like an insane amount. It's what people want. Like, it's an insane situation. There's so many different variants of Peter. There's variants of Spider-Man that aren't even Peter themselves. Like, it's cool, right? Like,
I love it. I do love it, but I just think the normal fans are not going to want to be seeing this all the time. It gets too outrageous, because then you start killing people and you bring back different variants and all this stuff, and people just get sick of that shit real quick.
But it's happened.
No,
like Secret, like things like that. Secret Empire, that's happened. Like, fucking Red Skull went into the past and was inside of like Captain America's body. Like, you know, taking over, and it's just fucking, and it's insane stuff like that. Like, those are crazy stories, but I love that because it's so crazy. That's the whole idea about like Marvel and everything. It's like things get all crazy. Same thing with DC Comics. Like, I'm sure you don't read it as often, but there's so many different variants of Earth. And of course, like, you always have Earth Prime, but then you had like what was it, Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Oh, there's so many different Earths in comics, but I don't think of comics in the same way. Like, as a cinematic universe that's meant to be connected in every way.
Well, why? Because it's the same thing as comics, dude. It's not different content. It's exactly the same thing. They're trying to bring it to life. That's all.
It's not. If anything, DC are actually more in tune with the movies and comics, because they like recast Batman and bring in different iterations of Batman all the time, whereas Marvel are not doing that.
They recast and they redo iterations because they don't know what the fuck to do with Batman anymore. People love Batman.
But that's what the comics are like. Like I'll get like 12 different versions of Batman comics, and they're all different. They're all different Bruces. They're all different fucking Batman. They're different ages. They're set in different worlds. It's the MCU are trying to do one storyline. That's it. One connected universe. Nothing else. I know they're doing multiverse shit right now.
That's exactly how it needs to work, though. It has to end at the end of the war, and then it all gets reset, like you said. But it can't be right now because there's not enough craziness to put it in that direction. And speaking of which, like for Batman, because there's so many iterations of Batman, the main universe Batman for Earth Prime is ongoing. Like all those different things that went on with Batman are continuously going through. And they've expanded it so much that Batman not only deals with people from Gotham, but also people from Metropolis and Themyscira and like on the JLA and from Oa. Like he goes everywhere. And that's the point of those of like that original Batman, is to keep moving forward and to deal with new threats that are always on the rise. And to just go and burn it all down and blow it up, I'm done. I don't want to see any more reboots of Batman at that point. I'm done. Like, you have Robert Pattinson. He did a good job. Please do like 4 more movies. I don't need a trilogy anymore and then a reboot, a trilogy and a reboot, a trilogy and I'm tired of it. Like, there's so many stories and I just want it to go forward. And that's what the MCU is trying to do, is to break out of that norm and to just keep going forward. And so that's why I'm saying to you, it's insane to think that we could just burn it all down and just start over just because you think that a reboot is necessary. People have been recast like multiple times.
I'm not talking about a reboot of the cinematic universe. I'm talking about a reboot of the universe within the cinematic universe, if that makes sense.
That's a hard reboot, because then everybody is not the same. It's redone. When you're talking about the multiversal war, it ends with the end of the multiverse. It ends there, and then a new cycle is reborn. I don't know if you know about this, but in the comics, there is like we're not the original universe in like Marvel Comics. We are not the original universe. We're Universe 7. Like we're Multiverse 7 in the sense. Like we're the 7th iteration within the like the timeline. It's been done over and over and over, and we're the 7th iteration, and that's why there's so many different things going on. And so to do this, like for them to do that, like they need to explain that that's about to happen, and that like we're going to reach the end of time. And guess who's going to be at the end of it? It's fucking Thor. Because he sees the end. He sees what goes on. He sees what happens. Yeah, like, you know, there's so many different things that go, like, and it's so expansive. And that's what I want, is I just want it to expand until they think like there's no more story, and then destroy it and reboot. And there we go. We got Universe 8, or like the 8th iteration. And that's what I love about Marvel, is like it's not the first time it's happened.
Yeah.
It's continuous. It's over and over. I love it.
Yeah. That's probably not going to happen in the movies though.
No. But I'm hopeful. It's hard, but I'm hopeful. And it's only because of creative differences and for different people wanting to tell their story, that it's never going to truly be what I want it to be. But at the very least, like if they get close enough, I'll be happy with that. But don't burn it down now. Like we're like yes, they're fucking up right now. But at the same time, they've said in the past, I think we've talked about this before, that they're going to take a step back. They're going to postpone things. They're going to like pull things back. They're going to try to restructuralize everything that's going on, so that it's makes more concrete sense as to why we're going forward.
Yeah, like I think like Feige knows that they're in trouble. He has to.
Yeah.
Like I haven't even checked. Like what's the box office of this movie doing?
How
are they doing today?
Probably not that good. I think it had good reviews, but I don't know if like a lot of people went to see it.
I saw I think it was Den of Nerds put out like a poll where it was like, are you gonna go see it in the first weekend? And like something like over like 70% of the people said they won't go to see it in the first weekend. 114, yeah, that's really bad. Jesus, that is really bad. Is that global or domestic? What's the global? I don't really care about domestic.
Well, I mean, it's the second biggest opening of the year behind the Super Mario Brothers movie. So I mean, it could climb up, but they're
with high reviews, it'll probably do better in the second week because I think people will be like, okay, you know, it's got like a 97% for audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I'll go see it. Like maybe it's good. But that's domestic. What's the global? Include
like
the world.
I think almost 300 million. It's
again, that's not good.
But it's the first week, so like as it climbs up, we'll see. Like once it starts trickling down and it solidifies, then we'll see how much it truly made.
Yeah. Like
what was their budget? Like that's the real thing. It's like what was their budget?
I think the budgets are usually around 200 million for all these movies.
Yeah,
so like they've made their money. They've made their money back, and that's obviously the number one goal. But like, you know, they're all greedy bastards. You know, they want to be like, they all want these movies to be hitting $1 billion. Like, and if they don't hit $1 billion, it's a failure in their eyes. Like, you know,
but that's corporate greed. Like that's not
of course.
Like you got to make
like I think I really think that like part of the problem is just that, you know, you have movies that are just so fucking good, and then you're getting movies like this, and it's like, you know, should the movies not be getting better, not worse? Like, you know, because, and I know like the bar was set so fucking high with Endgame and all this stuff in Infinity War, but it's like, you know, the movies shouldn't be this bad. Like I really think they should be better. Like there was like two or three stages of watching this movie where I turned to my girlfriend in the middle of the theater, like just going, what the fuck are we watching? This is shit. Like some of the fucking dialogue was really bad. Like the writing was terrible. I was just like, this is just not funny. It's not working. It's just cringe. Like, and I don't like it. I'm just like, why are we dealing with this in 2023 in Phase 5 when everything should just be running perfectly now? You know, it's tough for me to fucking watch. Like,
yeah, that's one thing I really agree with you though is the dialogue in the story. But like anything that's not between Rocket, High Evolutionary, and Quill, like between those three,
yeah,
everything else was like garbage. Everything else was like
Nathan Fillion popped his head in. I love Nathan Fillion, so I was like, oh shit, Nathan Fillion. I was like, this is epic, and like it was just really bad. Like all of his lines, all his dialogue was shit. It was real cringy, and then like fucking James Gunn's wife shows up, and I'm just like, oh god, she's in the MCU now too. I was like, okay,
yeah, fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. You know, James Gunn was like, I only hired her for one role. Like, it's not my fault that she gets all these other hires. It's like, so you're telling me that she came over to the MCU and you had nothing to do with that? Come on, buddy. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I understand you look after your own. And of course, if I was a big director, my wife would be in stuff too. But I really feel like she's getting jammed down our throats now at this stage. Like,
well, it's the same thing with Helena Bonham Carter, like, and Tim Burton. The two are married.
And I hate that too. I hate that as well. And I think it's kind of fucked up that he always has Johnny Depp fucking his wife. It's weird, bro. It's weird. It's weird. I've always thought that's weird.
Are we saying that Tim Burton's a cuck?
I wouldn't want any of my friends anywhere near my fucking missus. Let's just say that. Seriously, lad, I've always said that's weird, dude. Like, honestly, I haven't thought about it in a long time. Thank you for that memory.
Well, it's not like it's never going to be like when they did Thor and they had like a double, but the double was like Chris Hemsworth's wife and came through and like did the kiss between Thor and Jane. I thought that was a cool little Easter egg, was that like that's his wife. Like he got to kiss his wife on scene.
Yeah. I don't mind. Like, again, look, you know, if I was James Gunn, I'm sure my wife would be in loads of projects, but it's kind of just in your face now at this stage. And it's just the fact that he went on Twitter and said, I only cast her in one project. That's not, you know, she's gone and done the rest herself. And it's like, yeah, but now she's come over to the MCU, and you know, the main villain in this movie is one of your friends from Peacemaker as well. Like, you know, it's kind of like
his brother's in there.
You're bringing your mates around, and your brother, of course, is in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, To be fair, I love like Sean Gunn's great in the movie. Like to be fair,
Oh yeah, like
he's
that
fantastic.
was
like,
really good.
Yeah, and he's always been good. Like the whole time, he's been great in it. Like, but yeah, it was just I don't know,
dude.
It was one of those things where I was like, oh fuck. And
honestly,
who's Karen Gillan's character again? What's her name?
Fucking god.
Her name is her name is escape me, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it escaped me too.
Or the development of that character breaks my heart because she was such a fucking badass for the whole MCU up until this movie, and it's like they just like dampened her completely. Like it felt so weird. It dampened her so much that we've forgotten her name.
Nebula,
yes. Like how the fuck? What have they done to Nebula? Like seriously, like it's weird, dude. Like it's weird. And like Mantis gets like such a buff in this movie as well. Like Mantis was great. Like that was Mantis's best performance, like out of the whole thing. Like, and it was as if they swapped Mantis and Nebula's like characters around or something. It was real weird. I was sitting back going like, this is bizarre. It's really strange. Like really strange.
I agree. Cause like, the only time I felt like it was necessary for Nebula to even speak was when Rocky came back and she's like, she didn't want to say it.
That was a nice little moment. Yeah.
Because, well, like, even then, Mantis spoke for Nebula. It's like, we all love you and we're glad that you're back.
Yeah.
And Finto's in the back like, no, fucking kill the bitch. Kill that motherfucker.
Kill them all.
Have him explode and kill Quill.
I loved Nebula for, like, everything up until the end of phase 4 or phase 3. Like, I loved it. Yeah. She was brilliant. Loved her. It's very sad to where it's gone there.
Well, okay. Besides all that, though, how did you like that final like fight between everyone? Like when all the Guardians came up,
that was cool, bro.
That was the coolest fucking scene in the entire show. That was the best fight ever.
That was the best part of the movie for sure.
It's so good.
Another thing, one of my favorite parts of the Guardians franchise is the music. And I thought the music in this one wasn't good.
Well, because they were shoving it in our face every freaking 5 minutes.
But they do that in the other movies, but it's such epic music and it fits so well that you kind of didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the first movie, you're like listening to all these like 70s bangers and you're just like, this fucking music is amazing. And it just worked. It fit Quill's character because it was just a cassette tape that he had from when he was 8 years old. And that's the only music he knows. That's part of who he is. But now it's like, we're getting Adele. Like the whole Adele thing was so cringy to me, man. I'm sorry. Like it was just terrible. I saw someone post it up and they were like, I'll never hear this song the same again. It's so emotional. I was like, that was cringy shit, bro. Sorry. That was awful to me. Like I just hated that. And I hated that Groot actually spoke as well. I'm sorry.
Well,
Groot,
okay.
I love you guys. Or like, I was like, no.
Hold on. Finto, don't die on this hill just yet. Come on. Like give it a sec. Take a moment. Think about it this way. I promise you. Like, it's not him actually saying, I love you guys. It's the movie letting us know that we've been with Groot so long that we can understand him now at the last time that we see him in this entire trilogy, saying, like, I am Groot, but because we as the audience have been around him so long, we kind of understand him now.
We speak Groot now. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, in a sense, like that's cool to me. Like that, I was like, cool, okay, I get that.
I didn't pick up on that when I was watching it, but that makes sense. But I don't think that that's what they were doing.
Well, okay, if
it was very clever, but I think they should have explained it. Like right. I think they should have had somebody who doesn't understand Groot go, hey, I understood that. And then it would have been funny and it would have been good. But the fact that he just went, I love you guys. I was like this in my chair. I was like, oh my God, Groot talks now. I was like,
well, even better than someone being like, oh, I understand you now. Because Gamora technically understands him now. Because at the end, like, she's like, oh, okay, I know what he's saying now. I think it would have been better. And it also would have been funnier if he was like, I love you guys. And then one of the dudes goes, yeah, you're Groot. Like, and then we're like, oh shit, we can understand him now. That would have been sick.
Chilling in the chat, Zabra's stretching like Reed Richards right now. Let's fucking go, dude.
Oh, and I agree with Chillin'. Beastie Boys like that. Oh, that was a good song to play though during the fight.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
But I think, when you're dealing with like the 90s for music and stuff, I thought there should have been like some Nirvana in there and like maybe like Pearl Jam and all this sort of stuff. Like, and again, like 90s music, I love 90s music, but I don't think 90s music works for Guardians, like that world,
Oh, dude, like I think it only fits if you do grunge, like
Yeah.
and plus I really loved the intro, like playing Creep. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like that song is about self-loathing
Mhm.
because you hate yourself so much because you see yourself as like a creep, like an ugly person. Like you can't, like you wish you could be normal, but you
Yeah.
feel like such a creep, and it fucking fit. Like I was like, oh, that's so good. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I think the acoustic was okay. I think it could have been maybe, I don't know. I would have taken a variant of it as well, like something from like someone else, maybe doing uh, like a shot of it, like maybe I don't know. There was that one guy on American Idol, I think, or America's Got Talent. Like his rendition of Creep was like by far my favorite because like it sends you chills.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, not going to complain about that. I think that was really good.
The
Playing
music
Creep.
for me is such a big part of the Guardians, though. And to be
Yeah.
honest, for the first two movies, after I saw the film, I wanted to go onto Spotify, find the official playlist, and listen to the music again.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I don't remember half the music that was in it. Felt like it wasn't part of the story this time. Whereas in the first two movies, and even in like Infinity War and everything, it's all about the music. Like when they're flying the ship, music's pumping through the ship and all, and everyone's singing along, and it's like these aliens shouldn't know this song, but it was important. And I just feel like in this movie that the music wasn't important this time.
Dude, you know what would have been funny though? Like if James Gunn had taken a jab at DC Comics or DC Universe,
Yeah.
and like as they're heading towards like the final area, you hear something in the way.
Yeah.
I was
Could
been
you
like, oh, you
imagine it?
guys suck.
Could you imagine? Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like it's yeah, it was a bit strange for me, I thought. But I saw someone actually put up a comment like, should James Gunn do an original score for Superman, or should he like do like music like he's done for all his other movies? And I'm like thinking about that, I'm like, oh, Superman has to have a score, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like
so. Like, I don't want to hear fucking Beastie Boys in a Superman movie.
I would
Doesn't
love I
doesn't
would
feel like
love
it
an
fits.
I would love an updated version of the original Superman theme from like the Christopher Reeves time.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
just that like I know I'm like if it's James Gunn, I'm hoping that it's not dark because
yeah.
I don't think it's time for us to be super dark with Superman.
No,
Super like
his version of Superman's gonna be fucking blue skies, all hope and everything. It's
good.
good scout Superman. Like that's confirmed.
Yeah, I'm happy with that because when you think about it, like with Gotham, you have do 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 do, and then like with Superman, it's like and it's like
Yeah,
there you go. Like you have the light and the dark because Batman deals with so much like
yeah,
dark and brooding and stuff, and then like Superman is like literally like yeah, I'm here to take care of crime, and that's how it should feel.
yeah.
So I'm happy with that. I'm happy to hear that.
Well, I don't know what officially is gonna happen, but I hope James Gunn doesn't do a Suicide Squad fucking vibe for Superman. I just feel like it just wouldn't work at all.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of scared.
I know, man, because that like well, because I
Like
know that
think
like
about all that James Gunn's done recently. It's all the same style of stuff. It's all Guardians basically. Like his Suicide Squad was just DC's Guardians.
right, but you have to admit, Peacemaker is his peak, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Peacemaker,
Peacemaker
Peacemaker,
was great.
Peacemaker, like all the way to the last episode, fantastic. Didn't have a problem.
Yeah,
Even though
loved it.
that little jab against the JLA, you're late, fucking idiots.
That was fantastic. I loved it. I loved that. That was great. It's clever. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, I'll rewatch it when it hits digital. I'll give it one more chance. But to be honest, I was quite disappointed with this movie when it came out. Like when I left the cinema, like I was pretty happy, like just yeah, whatever. I was lost for words, like I am right now. I just couldn't believe we were still going through this. Like I had such high hopes for Phase 5, and we're now 2 movies deep, and like Ant-Man didn't work for me either. Didn't like it.
I get that, man. I get it. Real quick though, like let's jump into a subject that we kind of touched and that we should really talk about because it pissed me off the most out of the entire movie. How dumb was Adam Warlock?
Yeah. Like I know he's meant to be a child or an infant or whatever, but like
he's not. Like in the comics, he's a fucking beast. Yeah. He's literally he's cosmic Jesus.
Do you think because they couldn't give him the Mind Stone, they had to like just completely change him?
Yes, that is exactly the point. Like,
yeah,
it's just like it blew my mind. Like, why do you even have the diamond in his his forehead?
What is that?
Because you want. Yeah. Oh, because you wanted him to look similar to the comics when you didn't even give him the right hair. You assholes. Like,
did you play the Guardians game?
No, but I've seen Warlock.
Very cool in that.
Yeah,
he was very.
I saw that. I was like, oh. It's like it seems so easy. You have it so easy. Hold on. You have it so easy. I'm talking too much. That like it's just get the hair. I get it. You don't have to do the hair exactly right, but I love the shoulder length hair that he has. Like he has a great amount of like hair, and it's golden, and he looks kind of yellowish, like golden. And so that's probably why they were like, let's make him a sovereign, which like made no fucking sense.
Yeah.
It just, and they reduced him, like you said, to a child, which did nothing for the movie. Nothing. No. I hated it.
He was so underutilized. And it's like I feel like everyone was talking about Will Porter for so long. And it was just kind of like, did half his scenes get cut or something? I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It felt so weird to me.
It's like, oh, I get it. He's a child because he wants to take care of that alien, the little alien pup. I don't care. I don't. Like, let him be badass. Let him go off into space. I would have been much happier if he had broken out of his cocoon. Cocoon. If he had broken out of his cocoon and he was like, cool, later, and then just left. And that would have been like, okay, well, that's a big middle finger to us, but at least he's cool. Like this, they just completely fucking broke him down and made him into a child that doesn't know how to do anything except be a child.
Like, we're to presume that he's part of the Guardians now, like by the end of the film, right?
Yeah, eventually. Like, I don't remember if in the comics he officially joins. I know he like interacts with them,
teams up or whatever from time to time.
Right. So like, you know, he needs their help. They need his help kind of situation. Yeah. But in terms of like who Adam Warlock is, the dude is literally one of the most badass characters you could ever get. He fucking goes up against Thanos. He gets the Infinity Gauntlet. He uses the damn thing.
Oh yeah.
He's like literally cosmic Jesus. He's a god.
Yeah.
And they turn him into what? I will Polter. I'm gonna charge through the glass and do nothing and get knocked out like 20 times. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off there.
Yeah, like, do you think that they're like without Gunn, like, are they gonna do like a Guardians without him? Like, who could you like imagine? Like, do they do Volume 4 with a new director and a new team?
I want them to do a spin-off called like Guardians, like something Guardians Rocket Edition or something like that. Like,
we'll probably get like a Star-Lord movie or something, or a Star-Lord TV show.
I wouldn't mind.
Quill on Earth. I'd watch it. Like, I wouldn't mind.
I would love for him to go join Dairy Queen.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine.
Oh my god. He meets up with Scott and they're in the same, you know. Oh no, that's Baskin Robbins. Yeah, that's like imagine like imagine Dairy Queen and Baskin Robbins and they're just butting heads.
Yeah. Like again, I really just I thought we were gearing up for some big deaths in this movie, so I was kind of getting ready for a world without some of these characters, and I thought it would be interesting to see where Quill goes without Drax and without Rocket, and without Gamora. Like, he goes back to Earth. It makes sense. They're all gone. And then it's like, what does Mantis do? Does she show up in like a Nova project or something? Or does she show up in Thor 5 or Thor 6 or whatever the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I just really feel like we were getting an end to the Guardians, but now the way that they ended the movie, it feels like they kind of they shifted gears and changed things. Because I don't know, maybe Gunn wanted to kill half the cast, and then Disney were like, "You can't really do that, bro. You can't just kill half
Like,
the
we need
cast
them
and
for
then fuck
later.
off." Yeah, you can't kill half the cast and then fuck off to DC, and then just take these actors with you. Whereas I feel like that's probably what he wanted to do, and then they were like, "We need to change that."
Right. I mean, I think that what they ultimately wanted was to try to recreate that scene in Endgame where, like, yes, Tony died, but like that scene in Endgame where like everybody just kind of splits off and does their own thing now. So like it's literally rehashing again. Like, I don't know how much of James Gunn had a hand in that, but I feel like it wasn't him at that point. Like, oh yeah, the Guardians split off, someone creates a new team. Quill goes off and hangs out with his parents or with his grandparent, which in my opinion, I think that's the coolest thing ever because he never did get to have a childhood. He never got to meet his family. Like, he just went off into space with Yondu and that was it. And like he never got to really know his family. And so now he gets to do that. I don't think it should have cost us a post-credit scene. I agree with that.
Yeah,
But like, I still liked it. I still thought it was okay because like it just had that same feeling, the same feeling we had when in the first Avengers movie when like they sat down and they had shawarma.
yeah,
They were just chilling. It's comfortable, it's relaxed. But I agree with you that they should have had something in the paper that said like something happened, masked metal man pops out using arcane powers or like magic. And then we would have been like, "Oh fuck, that's Doom." Or massive like Hulk on a rampage or something like that. That would have been sick. It's like, "Oh shit, something
yeah,
happened with Hulk." Or, like Iron Man look-alike seen soaring through the sky. It's like, "Oh shit, Ironheart is fucking around." Like, give us
yeah,
something. Give us something that ties the world together.
yeah.
But they didn't do that. All they did was just go, "Yeah, they sat down. They had cereal. They talked a bit. All right." But I mean, we've had that before with Ragnarok. If you remember, like Thor is on the like he's having a moment with Bruce, and Bruce is like, "I'm not that kind of doctor, man."
Yeah.
But that didn't have any real connection, but it was funny to them.
That's fine. Like, and again, I don't really mind that when we kind of know what's coming next, whereas this is just completely unknown and we don't know where any of it's going. And the last scene that we have, where you would love a bit of clarity or a little tiny hint to maybe what is he going to do next. We're just seeing him sitting eating cereal with his granddad talking shit, like, and it's kind of just like, and I think the part of it that annoys me the most is just where the MCU is right now. There's no connective tissue anywhere, so I'm looking for it anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right. And
And
we're
that's
we're
just, we're hungry for it. Like, we
yeah,
are.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Like, there's no denying it. Like, that's what brought us to the MCU, and that's what's kept us here for so long. Like, where the fuck is Sam Wilson? He threw on that fucking Captain America suit, what, 3 years ago now? And it's like, where has he been since?
Nothing.
Where's White
Yeah.
Vision? What's Wanda up to? We know she survived. It's like, it's just, there's no connective tissue, and we're left kind of thinking in our heads, we're trying to put it together. And
Mhm.
that's not the beauty of it. The beauty of sitting in your seat and watching 10 minutes of credits at the end of the theater is that you're getting a reward at the end of it.
Right.
You're going to get a hint at what's coming next. And there was just no hint, and it just pissed me off.
Nothing at all. And like I agree with you 100%, Finjo. That's something that we're wholly missing. You know what was one of the best scenes I thought was in any MCU movie was like one of the Ant-Man movies when Ant-Man has to infiltrate the Avengers like compound.
And he meets Falcon. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
yeah,
runs into Falcon.
fantastic.
Does he run into Rhodey?
Just Falcon, I believe. He
Just
sees him out
Falcon.
on the lawn or whatever.
Still,
and then later, Falcon's like, I actually know a guy, and it's like, it's cool. That's the shit we want. Like, that's the shit we need. But like, they could have easily just had Quill sitting with his feet up on the couch, and he throws the news on, and it's like She-Hulk or whatever. Mention anybody, like, yeah, Fisk running for mayor of New York or something, and then you just be like, boom, what the fuck? When's that going to happen? Like, and just we'd be going crazy. Like, we'd be making speculation videos about it. Like, it'd be incredible.
I would have even been super stoked if they would have given us a hint that Fantastic Four was coming. Yes. If like they're not even looking at the TV, but like in the background you see the TV's on and it shows the Baxter building.
Something like that, yeah. Or like even like we're so close to getting the Fantastic Four now that you could even just say like you could have a news article and it'd be like, Reed Richards opens up the fucking Baxter building or something like that. Like, and we don't even need to see an actor just yet, but even though we kind of know it's going to be Adam Driver now, but like, like at least just give us the fucking words on screen. Like let our minds run wild. Let us race.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Or you see something that like, it could even be silly. It'd be like Johnny Storm doing a crazy stunt again or something like that. Like
exactly.
Or even Johnny Blaze. Like I would have fucking jumped off my chair and been like, fucking Ghost Rider's coming back.
Exactly. But sure, even like when we were watching She-Hulk and they mentioned like the claws, you're kind of like, oh my God, Wolverine's out there somewhere. Yeah. It's like, that's the kind of shit that the MCU did so perfectly. And that's what we need back.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly. And I'm tired. Like, I don't want to get too far into this, but I am definitely tired of writers thinking that it's funny. Like literally them like poking us in the stomach. Tee hee. You remember this character, Johnny Blaze? Yeah. Well, guess what? We have Donnie Blaze.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
I was pissed.
Yeah. For sure.
It's like you're so close to like to giving us joy and you just squash it. Like how mean are you? Like it's not even funny. Like
do you know what I thought was going to happen at the end of the movie? Actually, just to go back to Guardians for a second. Mm-hmm. Did you see the kind of theories going around online that the woman who Steve Rogers apparently slept with is the same actress that played Quill's mother? So they were saying that, oh my God, imagine like if that was actually Quill's grandmother that Steve slept with in like 1943, and then Steve was actually Quill's granddad. And then it's like, imagine like the fucking door opens, Quill rings the doorbell and he goes out the back garden and it's Old Man Rogers. Bro, like, are you for real? That would have actually, the movie would have gone from a 6 to a 7 for me straight away if that happened. Honestly, like, could you imagine like getting Evans in? Because like, he's doing little like pop-ups here and there, cameos. Like, get him in as Old Man Rogers. That would have been fucking explosive, man. Explosive.
Would you have been okay if they were just eating cereal in the post credits?
Yeah, actually, that would have worked a lot better. Honestly, if the granddad was someone of importance, it actually would have been more important.
Yeah,
than just some random dude that we don't know.
Yeah, it really fucking destroys everything for the fact that he's like the son of Ego. Like I know that like Mantis and Quill are like half siblings, but like I don't care. I really don't.
Can I kind of maybe blow your mind a little bit?
Sure.
So imagine they did this movie, Volume 3. Imagine Volume 3 was Volume 2, and Volume 2 was Volume 3. And they ended the trilogy with like Quill being a Celestial and all this stuff. And after everything that's happened up to now, we've met the Celestials and all this now. Because like it didn't really mean anything to normal fans before now. But could you imagine if they did all that shit now, like, and they kill Yondu at the end of the third one, and just like, I think that potentially could have been a lot better.
I definitely, I can agree with the fact that Yondu would still be alive. I think that would have been much cooler.
Also, the whole Rocket story in the middle of the trilogy as well probably would have hit more.
Maybe, but like it still would kind of ruin the idea that like they're disbanding for now, and like but they'll always be Guardians.
Well, you just do the disbanding at the end of the second film. You know what I mean? After they kill Ego.
I guess so, but it just still is like in my head. I'm like, oh, this feels like it's gonna fall apart so easily. I just don't think ego works, to be honest. Like I think that this whole situation of like, oh man, like you're my son and you're a celestial kind of thing. Like I would have been so much more interested if he was you're a celestial and you're my son, but it was actually a lie, and that he was just the perfect specimen from Earth that could that is a battery, that could be a battery, and that he just stole him. He just wanted to steal him from Earth to use him as a battery, and then you find out that it's actually Mantis is part celestial because she is apparently now. So technically,
Yeah.
they still have like celestial beings. It's just fucking weird. Like I don't know. Like it just bothers me so much that they had to go the celestial route with this.
Yeah.
It like Quill's father in the comics is way cooler. Because like he's actually like out in space and he's doing shit, and like now we don't have that. So like that's kind of like that kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get how you wanted the kind of like the story to end on a big note where it's like, oh, this is about Quill.
Yeah.
This is ending with Quill. But I don't know, man. I really like, I don't hate the ending of Guardians 3. I just hate everything in between that didn't make sense. I really liked, like, I know you're not a fan of Rocket Story, but I am. Like it's just like we're on a pass on this one. Like we're on a crossroads.
I didn't care as much as other people apparently. You know, I was kind of shocked that the whole movie was about Rocket. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it really felt like Quill took a side, like a seat to the side in what I would consider his own movie. Like I consider Quill to be like the main actor in Guardians. Like I've always thought of it that way. And this movie feels like it was the Rocket show
I
for
mean,
the whole film. And I thought maybe if it was for a quarter of the movie, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool.
yeah, but you have to remember it's called the Guardians of the Galaxy. So like they did
Yeah.
have introspective with like different characters. It's just we never learned about Rocket. We never knew what Rocket truly went through. And we were seeing it going through, like in this, like that's why the second movie kind of fits where it is, because Yondu understands Rocket and now Rocket loses Yondu. And so Rocket is by himself again
Yeah.
in the sense. And so like, I don't know, it just seems like odd to kind of move that around. I still think it fits, but I think it would have been cool though to like end on a big note of like, oh man, celestial beings. And we already know about celestials. But like I think the story of Ego is so fucking like overdone on that movie that it doesn't matter anymore. Like I don't care anymore about Ego.
Oh, like it's irrelevant to even think about him, I think, at this stage in the MCU.
They kind of they wasted that character. I think they could have used Ego later on.
The MCU are quite fond of wasting characters, aren't they?
They are 100%.
Yeah.
And I will like I could go on about this too. Like just
Yeah.
wasteful. Like that's one thing, Finto, is like there's the quality of DC characters is there, but I don't think they know how to push it forward movie wise. The quantity of characters is there for Marvel, but I don't think they know how to make them quality. So
Yeah.
it's a fucked up world with these guys. Like it's like I'm hopeful that James Gunn does DC right so that we can have some like good things to talk about and be like, well, DC did this, well, DC did that, and then it's like Marvel's realizing, oh shit, like we're fucking up now, like we're on
Yeah.
the other end. Man, I'm actually pretty excited for James Gunn doing DC stuff. I want to see
yeah.
how it turns out.
Like I'm excited for the Flash movie, as much as I hate to say that. Like, but I'm really excited for it. Blue Beetle, I think, looks good as well, and
Blue Beetle looks fucking sick.
Yeah, and like the Batman sequel with Robert Pattinson, I'm down for it. Like, you know what I mean? I think DC's bright future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Big time.
People in the chat just talking about who's going to be cast in Fantastic Four, and I saw Jenna Ortega, and I'm like, no, please don't. Jenna Ortega
I don't
does
like it either.
not fit that.
I think
Like,
the Margot Robbie's apparently been offered it, and I like that. I think she's like big actress, and I think she'll play like well alongside Adam Driver.
mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Jodie Comer as well. I think she'd be good too.
It's just
Margot's the if you can get Margot's the way to go.
Yeah, I think Margot will fit well. And
can you imagine her in the fucking suit? Like,
well,
she's gonna be driving the world crazy, bro.
Yeah,
that
could. Well, because I mean, we saw her in Wolf of Wall Street.
Of course, but comic book nerds, bro.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna go wild.
Like that's one thing about comic book fans is when the females are in skin tight suits, it leaves a lot to the imagination. But at the same time, because it's Disney, they might not go in that full direction. They might just do like raid suits. Maybe something a little more like armored.
That's true. Although, Black Widow was very heavily sexualized.
Yes, but they toned it down as they went forward because Scarlett Johansson was like, "I ain't doing this shit anymore."
Yeah,
you need to cover my ass up. And Elizabeth Olsen, when she first started as Scarlet Witch, she's like, "I am not dressing in skimpy outfits. I am like I'm going to cover up my cleavage. We're not doing this."
Yeah, and she looks better now than she did at the start.
Yeah,
it's glorious.
It's cool. Yeah, she looks really cool.
Yeah, fair play to her.
When the actors are comfortable in their clothing, I think that's when they play the best.
Yeah, true.
So do whatever you got to do. Make sure the actors are comfortable in what they're wearing. Don't make it awkward. If you can make it a little attractive, that's cool, but it's not necessary.
Do you think people would look at the Fantastic Four lineup and be like, "Oh, that was Harley Quinn in this movie"? Or do you think she's Harley Quinn?
I think
to this crowd, to this fan base.
Yeah, for yes, yeah. If you're talking about just this fan base, I would say that, because they're like, why is Harley here? Like Harley's in but Margot Robbie's way more than that. You and I,
no, I know.
Both know
I know this, but
yes,
I'm talking about the normies here. Are people going to look and go, "Oh my God, Margot Robbie's in this"? Does she not play Harley Quinn for DC?
Right? Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Like, people are going to be like, weird. Is she not going to be Harley Quinn anymore? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
And it's more so like, hey, they're getting work. They're gonna be superheroes. Like, they get paid a lot to be a superhero. So why not? And that'll be a huge role for her. Like, to be part of the Fantastic Four. Oh massive. My God. She's gonna get
honestly. Well, I would have said it during Phase 3. I would have said if I was a famous actor in Hollywood, I'd be doing anything to try and get into the MCU. Maybe after Phase 4 and the start of Phase 5, maybe a lot of people in Hollywood are like, is the superhero fatigue happening now, or are people getting sick of comic book movies? But I really think that we're just kind of in a bit of a slowdown at the moment. I think it will kick back off again. I still think Adam Driver probably really wants to be part of the MCU.
Oh yeah.
Same with Margot Robbie. If she's going to do DC, she wants to do Marvel. You know what I mean? She's there. She wants to do it.
I think and honestly, I think the fatigue is embedded in the fact that they're not driving good content right now. It's not worthwhile content. Like, we're not getting anything that's just like, oh my God, I can't wait for the next thing to pop up. Like, I haven't gotten out of my seat and been like, what the fuck, in a long time.
Yeah.
And the closest thing was Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight. I thought Moon Knight was at the most the best out of all these shows so far, because it had action, it had dialogue, it had psychological shit, thriller stuff.
It was different. It was very different, I thought.
Yeah.
And that was good. That was a good thing. It was refreshing.
Yep.
Because it was so different.
Right. Yeah. And the only thing that drops off for Moon Knight is the fact that they kept teasing Jake Lockley, and as much as I would have, as much as I'm excited to see Jake Lockley, I'm not that excited to be like, oh, well, now we get the third persona. It would have been much more interesting if he'd have blacked out, or not blacked out, but we saw the moment in his eyes where his eyes roll back, and and it's gonna look like he's blacking out, but then he forms back and he starts just massacring everyone in that area, and you just see blood and guts flying because he doesn't give a shit because Jake Lockley is a fucking murderer, and he's just he's gonna just destroy everybody within the area. And then he comes back and like Scarlet Scarab's like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like that would have been way more cool. Like the blackout situation is a cop out at that
Yeah,
point.
it was annoying me towards the end. I couldn't believe we got a blackout in the last episode. I was like, what the fuck?
I agree.
That was just annoying to me. Like
that was so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But Scarlet Scarab was sick.
She was good.
She was really cool.
Dude, I gotta wrap this up. I gotta get off. I've got a very early start. It's actually quite late for me now. So look, I think we need to kind of have a talk about what we got to do next week because I don't think there's any content for us to talk about. So I don't know. We might maybe have a chat in Discord. Maybe I don't know.
Elaborate on something.
Yeah, we'll figure out something to talk about next week. Maybe we can kind of go over some Star Wars stuff or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Massive thank you to anyone who was hanging out with us live. If you're watching us on a replay, leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think of all this stuff. Do you think we're talking shit about the movie, or let us know, are we right or wrong? If you're here for the first time, drop a subscription on the channel, leave a like on the video, all that usual stuff, and yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you guys. Bye everyone.